Hello! Today we are at the Greenbush Education Service Center and we are in the process of constructing a butterfly garden. As you can see, we've already put our hardscapes in, so we have some retaining wall sections completed, and we began tilling some sections. And actually, over to your right, my left, we have one section that is somewhat complete. And what the basis of this garden is, butterflies are attracted to mass colors, such as reds and yellows. And some perennials that we'll be using will be bee balm, echinacea, which is a cone flower. We'll use some ornamental grasses, and we've thrown in some evergreens and just some regular deciduous shrubs, so we have other things to look at other than just the perennials. This area is what we'll be concentrating on today. Right now we have two Canardi upright junipers and a Cleveland Select pear. Cleveland Select pears are great in the spring. They bloom, so you get a little bit of bee action on the pollination of other plants. But when this area is complete, we will have a small area right here with some decorative pebbles and a small fountain, kind of a little drinking area for the butterflies, which will also attract birds and other wildlife. There's lots of rabbits and birds that come through here. We'll probably also do some bird feeders. But the main concept of this garden is perennials and lots of colors. So we want to do those in mass plantings. Butterflies radar hone in on mass colors, so big pockets of red, big pockets of yellow. So we're going to do a lot of daylilies, Stella d'Or's, Little Business, which bloom red, Stellas bloom yellow. So that's kind of what we're going to get started here. Today we're going to begin by tilling and then our plant placement, and we'll put them in and finish by mulching. Okay, now that we have our bed tilled, raked, and shaped, we'll begin our plant placement. A little tip about evergreens, and pretty much any type of shrub that's prickly or has thorns. I've had a lot of people ask me, how come when I move these, I look like I have poison ivy or a rash? The big thing with that is all thorns and any spike on an evergreen grows in an upward manner. So pretty much like this, or spikes upward. So anytime you mess with an evergreen, you need to come up on it. You won't get stuck. It's when you come down that you'll get poked on that. Same with a rosebush, pyracantha, pretty much any of those shrubs or bushes, thorns all grow up. So always approach that from the bottom when you pick up. But be careful on densiform shoes. The oils from your skin can damage plant material. So if this was a you and you were to grab that, in a couple weeks of oil from your skin, you'd have a dead spot, almost like you sprayed Roundup on it. So just keep that in mind. We've now set out all of our plant material, as you can see. And just to kind of give you a quick rundown, the large uprights are Canardi upright junipers. We have some boxwoods, some compact Anandina. Compact Anandina are great for birds because they berry in big clusters like grapes. They turn bright red, and they don't defoliate in the fall. So through the winter, the green foliage on that actually turns red, so you have some nice lush red foliage to keep you through the winter. These are firepower Nandina. They don't vary, but they just make a nice, about 3 feet tall by 3 feet round, nice bald shrub. And as you can see, there's a little bit of winter color left on here, kind of the redness, and then it turns back to lime green, and as those leaves mature, you get a deep green. Here maybe some of last year's leaves, a little deeper green. So just a real nice mass of lime green, and then turning to red in the fall for us. Behind those are a maiden grass, which gets about 6 feet tall and shoots out a nice plume. Just kind of softens that railing that you see behind there. And then coming up into the center portion of the bed, these are red Weigelia. They have about a 4-foot spread on them, and that's from the center of the plant, so 2 feet in either direction. So eventually, these will all come together and we'll have a nice big mass of purple-green foliage with red blooms that last all summer long. Now we will begin our planting process. A little bit of information on this upright Canardi juniper. As you can see right now, there's some yellow twine that holds this burlap sack in place. But due to the fact that we've had quite a bit of rain, Normally, if you're under dry planting conditions, you want to cut this twine and just peel it back and just undo the top wrap of the burlap. This twine that they use on this particular shrub is not biodegradable, so it will eventually strangle your tree. So we just need to keep in mind that due to the fact that it's wet and we want that to keep some stability, we need to come back in about 3 months and go ahead and cut that twine to let the tree go ahead and grow so it won't girdle that off or choke the trunk off. On container shrubs such as this Nandina, when you pull them out of the pot, just give it a little slap, pull it out. You can see that we're pretty root bound. So you can use a knife, but I always just use my fingers. You just want to kind of rough that up a little bit. That gives everything a loose, fresh start. Always loosen the dirt in the bottom of your hole as well. Spin your best side forward. You can see the back of this is kind of flat and airy, and the front's lush and thick, which is this is our main focal view. So we want the good thick side towards the viewing eye. Now that we have all of our plants in and we've raked our dirt back out smooth, now we will begin the mulching process. It's very simple. On new plantings or bare dirt, you want to lay your mulch about 3 inches deep. That just helps control any weeds that may want to regerminate. Another good idea is to apply a chemical. A good one is Preen, and that pretty much that's a pre-emergence. So that's going to stop any new weeds from coming up from seed, which really helps out because you want a weed-free landscape. So we'll begin by mulching. As you can see, we've spread the rest of our mulch and planted a lot of annuals as filler. Also some perennials such as bee balm, echinacea, which is a coneflower, we talked about that earlier, and some ornamental peppers as well as lantana, and lots of coleus. Coleus is great for butterflies. They love to feed on that, especially right after they hatch. And this right here is a wizard mixed coleus, and they will actually just devour that. They love it. And then we went with a lot of annuals too, as begonias, some snapdragons, things that they can flutter around and pollinate on, as well as trying to attract some birds to get other types of wildlife in here. And I'm sure we'll have some rabbit visitors as well. Hopefully they won't be too destructive. So we have this part complete. And as you can see, if we pan over here to the far right, we're not quite finished yet with the entire garden, but what will go in will be a water feature, probably a bubbler, some sort of drinking source for the butterflies and birds. And of course, the last step we need to do is water. And that's this week's gardening tips. Till next time, I'm Jason. Happy gardening.